CONNER roofing.com.
Are you planning a home remodel or a spring getaway for your family? Turn your vision into reality with a home equity line of credit from Royal Banks of Missouri. Whether you're looking to elevate your space or create new travel memories, Royal Banks of Missouri is here to help you make the most of your home's value and provide flexibility to fund your big plans. Call 314-212-1500 or visit royalbanksofmo.com for more information. Royal Banks of Missouri, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
61 degrees at 10:03 with KTRS News. I'm Steve Potter. St. Louis leaders say March Madness, which begins tomorrow, will bring a major economic boost to the downtown area. The Enterprise Center is set to host 4 games of the first round of the NCAA tournament on Friday and 2 more on Sunday. Kat Neville of Explore St. Louis told First Alert Forward that the event is expected to bring in $13 to $15 million.
This is something that is an opportunity for St. Louis to make a great first impression and bring people back. The economic impact, it spreads across the entire region. People are driving in, they're staying in hotels, they're dining in restaurants.
The City Sports Commission says the games will also give St. Louis national TV exposure. Following allegations of financial mismanagement and conflicts of interest in the Metro East's Cahokia School District, union leaders there are calling for state and federal oversight. The union reports they've uncovered documents showing more than $1 million in questionable payments involving high-level administrators and their relatives. School Superintendent Curtis McCall has denied all allegations of wrongdoing. The Missouri Judiciary has issued a warning about at least one fake website.
One of these fake websites, casenetmo.us, appears to be run by court-related personnel, but it's not. The public is urged not to use these websites. Attempting to do so may produce a message warning a virus has been detected. Additional websites with some form of CaseNet in their names but are not CaseNet include mo-case.net and casenetmonet.website3.me. Now, appropriate law enforcement authorities have been notified and are investigating. Jill Enders, KTRS News.
And as we hear in this report, a couple of St. Louis attractions have been named among the best in the nation.
The Missouri Botanical Garden and the St. Louis Zoo have been named top 10 in a national media survey. The garden ranked 4th on the list of best botanical gardens in the United States. The Cincinnati Zoo and Botanical Garden ranked 1st, and the St. Louis Zoo ranked as the 6th best zoo in the United States. The zoo's Penguin and Puffin Coast was voted the number 5 zoo exhibit. The number 1 zoo was Omaha's Henry Durley Zoo and Aquarium. The results were determined by a national poll conducted by USA Today in their 10 Best Readers' Choice Awards. Sobe Bay, KTRS News.
This KTRS Business Minute brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist, the place for all your floral needs. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. Investors today made their first pitch to St. Louis City leaders to build a new large data center. That's near the Armory in Midtown. Local investor Rod Thomas, along with Las Vegas real estate firm Contour, are seeking a conditional use permit to build a $3.1 billion center. Now the markets, brought to you by JBL Financial. Tune into Straight Talk on Retirement, Saturday mornings from 9 to 11. The Dow is down 359 points at 45,865. NASDAQ down 142 at 22,009. And the S&P 500 down 38 at 6,580. In sports, the Blues fall to the Flames 2-1 in an overtime shootout from Calgary. And 3-seed Illinois basketball takes on Penn tonight in the NCAA tournament. Expanded pregame coverage and the live play-by-play begins at 7 p.m. right here on the Big 550. We're looking for an afternoon high today near 75 degrees, mostly clear tonight with a low in the low 50s, sunny tomorrow with a high around 82. Coming up on 7 minutes past 10 o'clock, we have cloudy skies, 61 degrees at the Gold Tower at Westport. Steve Potter, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
Stay connected with the Big 550 KTRS, streaming 24/7 online at KTRS.com or on the KTRS app. Powered by JBL Financial. Stream Straight Talk on Retirement every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Hey, it's Josh, and I want to tell you about a dentist office, My Dentist Office, and their new location now open in Lake St. Louis, Lake St. Louis Dentistry. Dr. Landgraf and the group of dentists have been my dentists my entire life. They've been my parents' dentists for their entire lives, and you don't keep generation after generation of clients unless you're really good at what you do. Now with 3 locations, Florissant, Creve Coeur, and the new one, Lake St. Louis Dentistry, half mile from 4064, and you can get an appointment today. Check out My Dentist, LakeSt. Louis Dentistry.com.
And now, the Frank and Jill Show. It's Frank Cusimano, Jill Farmer on the Big 550 KTRS, the talk of St. Louis. Powered by STL Medical Weight Loss. See the Dr. Joe difference at STLMedWeightLoss.com.
Hello and welcome. Frank and Jill Show on a Thursday morning. John Pertzborn sitting in today for Frank, who is in Buffalo. We're going to hear from Frank a little bit later, covering, of course, the SLU Billikens and giving us some insights on the big Illini game tonight as well. Connor McCarthy here, continuing his extended stay. He was covering for Carl this morning. Early morning for you. Early morning for you, my friend.
It was, and now we're on the back 9 of the day.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
good.
Downslope.
Very, very fun. Pertz, so fun to be
good to
sitting
see
next
you, Jill.
to you on the desk again.
Yeah, we haven't worked together since what, the 1990s?
Yeah, I was going to say it's only
been a long
only
time.
been 25 years. I mean, I'm sure it'll be just like riding a bike.
Right. Yeah, it's good to be here. It's good to see Connor again. Man, he is working a lot. And I heard Frank had an excellent meal in Buffalo, and he'll probably talk about that. I just need to go out and fill up my car today, and I'm dreading that because gas just continues to rise.
Yep, it's going to. I mean, it will. Gas goes up and down. That's what happens. But
It's a commodity.
yes,
Yeah.
it is a commodity, but we've been used to pretty low gas prices for quite an extended period here. So
Long
it
time.
does surprise. And it just in time for you to hit the road, of course, on a 12-hour trip tomorrow to go to Colorado.
I'm going to take that I-70 heading west into west of Denver to go skiing again with my son and his wife. So we're looking forward to that.
It'll be a blast. I having made that trip many, many times. I know where the Ogallala. That's a really good
Yeah,
gas
I didn't know you
station
had
there.
Colorado roots.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of times I've made that trip. But it's nice because back in the day when the kids were little, it was trying to keep them entertained for all of those 12 hours. That was hard. That's back in the days when we had those kind of clumsy video players in our cars that were really just death projectiles that we would kind of strap down with Velcro and hope for the best.
Did you play I Spy?
Yeah, we did that.
Did a
I
lot
had
of
all
that?
kind. I had like map games.
I Spy a Red Car.
Yep,
Yeah.
I went old school. Speaking of kids, have you seen this story out of Barcelona that the kid from Chicago has been missing? He was
Yes.
over visiting. And I have to say, it's brought up a little PTSD for us. Oldest daughter studied about 10 years ago abroad in Barcelona. Thousands of U.S. kids do. It's a very fun place, I think, to study abroad, if not the most academically rigorous. It's a lot of the study abroad programs attract a lot of American students. And so, 99.999% of the time, it's just fine. This particular case, something appears to have gone awry. And it just, as a parent, you want to have your kids have these incredible experiences, but it does strike fear in the hearts of all those parents, especially of college kids, thinking about that happening.
And it's unusual happening in a place like Spain,
Right.
Especially Barcelona.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it is a really safe city. Pickpocketing, that was
Yeah,
the
you
kind
have
of
that
thing
issue.
that was
Right.
something you had to watch out for. But definitely it's considered, one of the safest places for students to be. So it's a strange anomaly. We hope that it just ends up being a wacky story where, things went awry. But the longer you go into it when his phone's not with him and the longer you hear that he hasn't been seen yet, that's disturbing for everybody involved.
I was down in Arizona last week and visiting my uncle with my friend Ralph. He came with me, and we went I said, I want to see the neighborhood where Nancy Guthrie disappeared. So we drove in. Quite a nice neighborhood. And you head up into the hills, the foothills, and I can see how somebody could disappear in the desert. Cacti everywhere.
Yeah, Mom and Dad were there for about 8 years, I think, in retirement, and we've talked about it a lot. And that's what my dad said from the very beginning. Her house was up kind of near the Sabino Canyon area,
Right.
which is beautiful, but it is you don't have to get, Phoenix is a metropolis that goes on and on and on and on. So if you're in the city of Phoenix, it takes you just a minute to get out into open desert. In Tucson, you're just a few miles away from very uninhabited land as far as the eye can see. And that's, I think, a disturbing part
I was talking to some of the locals, and I said, what do you think happened? They said, we believe it was a kidnapping. I don't think they knew who she was or who she was related to, but then the entire world descended upon Arizona to cover this story, and they panicked. And I said, well, where would she be? They said she was probably put in an old mine shaft or something, and they went to Mexico.
Yeah, it's not, I think everyone can agree by now. I mean, I think initially it was like, we hope it's a kidnapping because that's a path to coming back. But whatever the circumstances were, I think most people
and will
are
we
thinking,
ever know?
Yeah, that's the thing.
So
at this
sad.
point, it's getting some answers in order to have some closure. Do you like going down? Is Arizona a place you
It's
like
not
to
my
be?
kind of place. No.
Don't you miss the green? I
Yeah.
mean, you and I are both upper
Right.
Midwest folks, so it's like, where are the trees?
I said,
a
where's
lot
your
of people
lawn?
love
You'd have
it.
to cut the lawn. There's no grass. It's all, cacti and brown.
Yeah.
I guess that's the one term. It's brown. And this week, it was up to 105 degrees.
Yeah, they set some records.
Yeah.
First time in winter that they've ever gotten to triple digits. No thanks. Even though it's a dry heat, I think I'd have to.
The
move on from
rattlers
that.
were coming out of hibernation early, and one guy was bitten.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, our old colleague Don Clouston lived out west, and he lost a little family dog to a rattlesnake
Really?
in the backyard.
Ugh.
I know. Some things we generally don't have to worry about here in Missouri. Coyotes, or Illinois, that's a whole different ball of wax. So very fun to have John Pertzborn sitting in today for Frank, but we'll get to hear from Frank a little bit later in the show on what's happening in our Billikens and Illini first round of the NCAA tournament today. But if you want somebody on your team who is definitely in the know when it comes to things like tax strategy and making your small business wildly successful, of course, Jeff Zufall is the guy to reach out to. You hear us say it, but I love running into people who say, you know what, I've heard Jeff's show. I love what he and Josh bring to the table, making understanding financial strategy and financial issues so much easier to understand. I finally decided it was time for me to pick up the phone and call Jeff. Well, take this as your signal that today's your day to do that as well. 636-394-5524. Easy for me to say. CapitalAdvisoryGRP.com.
Heard a great story about the window store the other day. Larry Thornton, the owner of the window store, 314-739-0002 or WSWindow.net, told me a story. He had a customer call him up and say that he wanted to replace his white vinyl windows with darker windows. And so, of course, Larry took care of him. So now they're all darker and sort of brown in color. Looks beautiful. They're energy efficient. There was no upselling. They're great quality windows, and Larry Thornton and the window store took care of him. That's what he does. The price is extremely reasonable, better than the national companies because there aren't the layers of middle management. The window store has been around for 38 plus years. Proud sponsor here at the Big 550 KTRS. Windows, and don't forget about doors. Doors can get really expensive real fast. That's why you want to go with a company you can trust. Installation, price, selection, quality. The window store. Window store. WSWindow.net. 314-739-0002. WSWindow.net.
Hey, it's Heidi, and I'm inviting you to join me October 23rd as we journey in search of Iceland's magical northern lights with Colette. We'll experience the land of fire and ice with a rare opportunity to search for the northern lights every single night with a tour guide. Our journey includes a day in the charming city of Reykjavik, checking out the steamy lava fields, massive glacier-sculpted mountains and valleys. We'll get unique views of beautiful waterfalls and walk along the black volcanic sand beach. And let's not forget, a relaxing dip in the Blue Lagoon. Colette handles all the deets, from flights and meals and hotels, even the local experiences. Your only job is to have the time of your life with me. You have until March 25th to sign up, so don't miss out. Join me. Call our friends at Altair Travel, 314-968-9600, or go to KTRS.com to learn more.
Get ready to launch into an out-of-this-world adventure with the St. Louis Blues. On March 26th, the Blues face off against the San Jose Sharks in an epic showdown in Enterprise Center. It's Star Wars theme night. Purchase a special theme ticket and receive an exclusive Blues Grogu bobblehead, the perfect addition to your Star Wars collection. Our in-game experience will be out of this world as well, with movie-related content and galactic characters roaming the concourse. Secure your seats now at stlouisblues.com/promotions.
Get your reservations in now for Bishop's Post. Bishop's Post. They have the best version of your classic favorites. Located in Chesterfield, Bishop's Post is the perfect spot for that celebration.
John Beal Roofing has been proudly serving homeowners and businesses in the St. Louis metro area on both sides of the river in Missouri and Illinois for over 3 generations. A dependable roof begins with a team you can count on, and that's exactly what you get with John Beal Roofing. Recognized as one of Roofing Contractor Magazine's top 100 roofing companies, John Beal Roofing offers 24/7 emergency service and industry-leading warranties, including a lifetime workmanship warranty for total peace of mind. From upgrading an aging roof or completing a full replacement, the team at John Beal Roofing delivers solutions that are built to code, built to last, and handled with expert care. John Beal also responds quickly with reliable storm damage services backed by decades of experience and 24/7 emergency support. Get started today for expert service and a free, no obligation estimate by calling 1-800-NEW-ROOF. That's 1-800-NEW-ROOF.
Mom, what do you always say?
There's nothing sadder than jewelry that sits in a drawer.
That's why we are proud to offer jewelry repair on site at Newssetter's Fine Jewelry. We know that your jewelry is important to you, and we take that part of our job very seriously. Visit us at Doherty Ferry in Big Bend or learn more at wowdiamonds.com.
Hi, everybody. This is Dr. Dan Lang with Carter Pet Hospital, inviting you to join me every Sunday afternoon from 2 to 3 p.m. for the Animal Advice Show on the Big 550 KTRS.
Are you retired? Are you thinking about retiring? Who is helping you with retirement? Might be time to check out the show When Retirement Happens, hosted by Kevin Lloyd of Legacy Wealth Advisors. Saturday at 1, Sunday at noon on the Big 550 KTRS.
Did you know you can borrow a telescope or a fishing pole from St. Louis County Library? It's true. St. Louis County Library's Library of Things is a unique collection of non-traditional library items, including musical instruments, GoPro cameras, binoculars, pickleball equipment, games, portable projectors, and more. It's perfect for a one-time project or to try an item before you buy it. Explore the collection and discover your next new thing to borrow. Learn more at slcl.org.
And now the opening dialogue with Frank and Jill on the Big 550 KTRS. Powered by Worldwide Technology Raceway.
Welcome back, everybody. Frank and Jill show on a Thursday. John Pertzborn sitting in.
Hello.
So many of you guys, you can tune in. Love seeing him. I know you can tune in on Facebook, on YouTube as well. By the way, incredible show today. Annie Brailer, she is a local designer. And by the way, she has moved into that baby basilica, which is the beautiful former church property and that Pope Leo spent some time in during his time in St. Louis. We're going to talk about why she thought it would be a great place to have a business and the evolution of that. Frank's going to join us. He's very busy today, but he's going to join us for a preview of the Slews game. Weekly special today, Sneaky's Burger Joint in Edwardsville, Illinois. John Pertzborn has done his due diligence and visited Sneaky's for us to tell us how delicious the burgers are.
Oh.
Excited about that.
Yeah.
Robert Scherer, who is a 7-time Tony and Grammy-nominated music producer, is going to tell us, John, why St. Louis is a great place to make music and why he likes being here.
He comes here all the time to do post-production on these musical albums and CDs and everything that he drops. And it's I found out that he does it because it's cost effective. Mm-hmm. So he's going to talk about that and what he has in the works right now.
We love it in St. Louis when people see the value that we can deliver to the world of entertainment. And then Diane Earhart, a flight instructor, air traffic controller, a friend of the pilot who died this week from Spanish Lake out in St. Louis. John, you're a pilot. This is something you know a lot about, and it just was one of those kind of hits you in the stomach situations, I would think, as a pilot, to hear about this crash.
I couldn't sleep Tuesday morning. I woke up. I looked at I think it was Channel 2's website, and I saw this accident had occurred. So I immediately sent it to Diane, whom I've known for a number of years. And I did not know that she contacted me later and said I knew Ed Rubeck, who had perished. And the reason this is so unsettling in the aviation community here in the St. Louis area is because he was the consummate pilot. He was such a good pilot. He was a flight instructor. He was an air traffic controller. In fact, he was the flight instructor who checked out Diane when she became a flight instructor.
Wow, I'm really looking forward to that conversation as well, to understand a little bit more about this whole process and how it happens, and more about this very timely incident from this week. In opening dialogue this morning, first thought for me, Missouri Independent reporting this morning, John, that Missouri lawmakers are considering a proposal. It's sparking a pretty emotional debate. How far should the state go to find homes for foster kids? New bill is going to make it easier to place children, which sounds good, although that is in unlicensed Christian residential facilities. The supporters say the foster care system overwhelmed. The numbers were going down, back up again in 2025. More than 12,000 kids in state custody, not enough places for them to go. They say it's an all-hands-on-deck moment. Critics say we can't ignore the past. Some unlicensed religious boarding schools in Missouri faced serious abuse allegations. Some of the Kansas City Star did an incredible job of doing some investigative journalism, exposing some pretty terrible things in the last few years. Kids being restrained, isolated, denied food. Advocates say the cases had one thing in common: there was little to no meaningful oversight. This bill is going to bypass state licensing and allow facilities to register with a faith-based association. There's where the concerns come about whether it's independent enough to protect children. Supporters say the state would still investigate abuse claims and remove bad actors. Opponents aren't convinced. I think the real question here is, when the system is stretched this thin, how do you create more options for kids while not risking their safety in the process?
You've got to do what's best for the children, and you need to increase oversight. And if that was the issue in the past and it didn't work, make it work this time.
Right. Governor Kehoe has spoken a lot about improving things like this, and we're in a budget crisis as well, so that's where a lot of these difficult decisions come through. I don't know if you've run across friends or family members, John, who are experiencing this, but more and more of my friends' kids recently graduated from college are applying for jobs. Round one of the interviews are with a robot. Not metaphorically. A literal AI program is now, in many, many cases, many major employers are using AI to ask that first round of questions. Wall Street Journal did a report on this earlier this week. Companies are leaning on artificial intelligence to screen candidates before a human ever gets involved. So instead of reading the room, there is no room, no nodding, no smiles, just you, a camera, and silence on the other end. Now, you're very good at talking to a camera and making it feel alive, but I can imagine a recent college grad might have to work on that a little bit. Experts say what makes it tricky is you will still have to show up like a real person in these interviews with a robot. Professional, engaging, energy matters, and the first impression may be with a machine. A real person is very likely to be reviewing the tape later. But the truth is they are using AI to do some of the screening. So I'm wondering, there's the skeptic in me wonders what kind of kids or young people are in this process are slipping through the cracks because AI has decided you didn't say the right words that tell them that you know that you're a viable candidate, whereas a person could see something in that they're not. I think it's an interesting process.
I think they would be more apt to use AI than somebody from our generation. But at the same time, AI is pretty good.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
I had a situation where I had to make a complaint, and the person who was interviewing me was AI. It didn't work for me. Okay? It was.
Did you just get madder and madder and madder?
It kept repeating the same thing, and I kept repeating the same thing, and it was we didn't get anywhere with this.
So in that case, AI was not
the best.
Was not the best. Yeah, it's. I mean, this is stuff that we would have joked about, and someday could be happening. And
it's
now
happening.
We're seeing it in real time. I need to quit acting so surprised about it, but I keep acting surprised. I read another article, and I'm like, wow, can you believe this? What do you guys think? Royal Banks of Missouri text line 84126. Axios reporting, I don't know if you saw this morning, President Trump is pretty excited about what he's calling the hottest ticket I've ever seen. And even though there's a lot of other things going on in the world, like war, he's giving it quite a bit of attention. It's an unusual event. It's going to be called UFC Freedom 250, a live fight night set for the White House South Lawn on June 14th. Have you heard about this?
I have not.
You've
This
not
is
been
the
invited.
First. This is crazy.
It is a UFC event, which of course is fighting.
Right up his alley.
At the White House. The timing, no accident. That is President Trump's birthday, Flag Day, and part of that lead up to America's 250th anniversary. Buzz is already very intense. Donors, lobbyists, members of Congress, well-connected insiders, all scrambling to get in. There's going to be about 5,000 VIP seats, but many of those are expected to go to military personnel. That's cool. A limited number for political allies and top donors. And those are the tickets that everybody wants.
So where is this going to be held?
White House lawn.
On the lawn.
On the lawn. And lots of people trying to get their spots because they want to be there to support this. Tens of thousands of additional tickets may be given away for some public viewing area nearby, right? So that'll be on big screens, I'm assuming. It's not just a fight night. It's a glimpse of who has influence, access, who's in, who's out in Trump's world when you see who actually makes the invite. But on this was not on something that many of us would have thought a bingo card ever might happen, but that's part of
Has there ever been anything like this on the lawn?
I don't think so. If you like the unexpected plot twists and the things that the new and fresh ideas that nobody else has thought of that President Trump comes out with, you'll think it's great. Other people are saying, boy, we're just really moving in an interesting direction here. When it comes to decorum and association. Apparently some of the biggest donors for the ballroom have already been given their tickets for
I can see
night.
this fitting in with that. But, I've seen turkeys pardoned. I've seen the lighting of the Christmas tree.
There's some quirky things that are not necessarily don't have to do with official business that have always been part of the history of the presidential position. So that's a fair point to make.
I'd be curious to see if people think it's... If it's the right venue, or not.
Good question.
Sure.
Royal Banks, Missouri text line 84126. What do you guys think about it? Does it fall just between, if you love President Trump, you think it's a great idea. If you don't think it's such a great idea, especially interested in hearing people that are sort of crossing over from one perspective or the other. Before we take a quick break, friends at McKnight Place Senior Living love getting calls from people who are listening to us. The KTRS listeners say just come up with the best questions, have very one a specific understanding, and many of you have already started doing your homework. And one of the things that surprises you about McKnight Place, assisted living and memory care, is that the pricing is so straightforward and so clear-cut. Because not that I want to pick on other people, but there are others in the senior living world, especially those that are owned by venture capital companies that are based somewhere else in the country, not in St. Louis, that come up with what I'm going to describe as a pretty tricky pricing plan. There's part buy-in, part rent, all these kinds of challenging things that particularly make it tough when you are thinking you're coming into assisted living, but maybe you will need to transfer or your loved one might need to move into more of a skilled nursing situation as time goes on. That's one of the best things about McKnight Place is there's upfront pricing. You're going to know exactly what the costs are, how to budget for that, how to plan for that in that season of life, which already creates so much transition. To have that clear understanding of the financial picture from the beginning, I think is a real gift for people. McKnightPlace.com, 314-993-3333. So much coming up on the Frank and Jill Show today with John Pertzborn sitting in. Don't go away. We will be right back.
At Midland, we know sometimes all it takes is a moment for an idea to spark, or to make it happen, a moment to find your dream, or build one, a moment to start your forever, or at least start planning for it. Whatever moments you have, Midland is here for them and can help you make them. Midland, brighter together. Visit us at midlandsb.com. Midland States Bank is member FDIC.
If you're concerned about the health of your trees, you need to talk to the Davey Tree Expert Company. These people love trees. They have a passion for keeping trees healthy. Their certified arborists provide personalized care for your trees. They're trained in the latest technologies for safe and accurate pruning and provide reliable preventative measures for diseases and invasive insects.
Locations in South County, Webster Groves, and coming soon to St. Charles. Davey Tree serves the entire St. Louis metro area on both sides of the river. Visit Davey, spelled DAVEY.com.
It's bracket season.
Dogtown bracket, that is. And while the players take the court, the Dogtown pizzas hit the ovens.
Pepperoni versus sausage, bacon versus veggie. And don't forget #1 overall seed.
Hot chicken. And with 13 different varieties, this will be the tastiest Final Four in league history. Celebrate tournament time with Dogtown Pizza and build your own bracket with 13 different varieties. Dogtown Pizza and dogtownpizza.com.
The Big 550 KTRS is your live and local home for community-focused talk radio, sports, and the Mizzou Tigers. Catch all the Tigers NCAA games right here on KTRS, along with Sweet 16 and Elite 8 games. And with the Fighting Illini needing a radio home this March here in the St. Louis region, the Big 550 KTRS has stepped up and will be carrying Illinois NCAA tournament games, live and local, serving Missouri and Illinois and beyond.
Spring is here, and that means you're going to be spending more time outside and enjoying the outdoors. But your deck, you've been thinking about doing something with that deck for years. Don't wait any longer. Go see my friends over there at Outdoor Living, Big Bend and I-44 in Kirkwood. It's right there. It's been there a long time. At Outdoor Living, the showroom has a great style, great designs. You can get all sorts of options. They'll come out to your house. They'll do a site visit, and when you're ready, they'll build you a deck with metal framing, composite decking, and they will put a 50-year warranty on that deck. That's right. You don't have to worry about staining. You don't have to worry about warping or anything else. All you have to worry about is how much fun you're going to have. They've also got pergolas and fences and patios furniture. Yeah, they got patio furniture at Outdoor Living. Check out the showroom, Big Bend and I-44 in Kirkwood. It looks like the old Denny's. You're in the right place. Or online, outdoorlivinginc.com for all of your patio needs and a 50-year warranty on that new deck. OutdoorLivingInc.com.
Most people think if I name my husband as beneficiary, everything's going to be okay, and that's not necessarily true.
I'm Scott Garcia with Premier Estate and Income Planning.
What am I doing taking care of people after somebody has passed and all the mess that comes with that?
And I'm Jennifer Cermak, Chief Counsel and Estate Planning Attorney of Premier Estate and Income Planning.
No longer is the attorney the gatekeeper to your lives.
Let us show you how to protect your assets, avoid probate, and retire with confidence.
Having an estate plan could be the most important document you could ever have.
The Premier Income and Estate Planning Show, this Saturday at 4 and this Sunday morning at 7 on the Big 550 KTRS.
The St. Louis Chess Club is a newly expanded 30,000 square foot state-of-the-art chess center featuring world-class tournament playing halls, classrooms, library, and casual play spaces for everyone who loves the game.
But it's so much more than a place to play.
It's where champions are built on the board, in the classroom, and across the community with a mission to bring the game to everyone from all levels with membership starting at just $15 a month.
Discover the excitement, the challenge, and the community of chess at stlouischessclub.org.
So glad you're with us on this Thursday morning. You're in for a very fun show on the Frank and Jill Show. Jill Farmer, Frank Cusimano out on assignment covering the SLU Billikens. We're going to hear from him in just a little while. John Pertzborn sitting in. Now, we heard a lot about this beautiful, beautiful church in the Gate District of St. Louis called the Baby Basilica because Pope Leo, heard of him, had spent some time there during his year in St. Louis during his studies as a new young priest. It's a beautiful facility. It was privately owned, and a lot of us wondered what's going to happen there. Is somebody going to turn it into some kind of a hotel? Is it going to be some kind of a church historical site? Well, what has happened is it is being converted into one of the most gorgeous interior design firms you will ever see in your life. And that is, of course, due to the fact that St. Louisans Annie Brayler and Charles Smith heard about this location being available, and they said, we got to do something great here. And Annie, I'm so excited that you were able to join us this morning to talk about the vision you had for this beautiful, beautiful basilica and how it's going in the renovation process for you guys.
Hi, thanks for having me. It's going really well. We had a good head start from the company that we bought it from, and we were lucky enough to have a lot of things done before we took it over, and we're continuing to restore it.
Say, Annie, this space was the architect who initially built this years ago and drew up the plans was the same architect who did the basilica, correct?
Yeah, a reporter actually coined it baby. Well, I said it was baby basilica. So she was interviewing me. I'm like, it's like a baby basilica, and then she used it, and now a lot of people are using it. So yeah, Barnett, Haynes, and Barnett it's the same firm as that did the cathedral basilica, and they also did a lot of pretty remarkable homes in St. Louis. Now that I've started like going down that rabbit hole and researching them, and it's funny to see. What's really interesting for me to see the similarities in their work in St. Louis. But it's just, if anybody has a chance to come in, we're always around, and I just love it when people just stop by, because it's just one of those rooms that the sanctuary where we have all of our offices and our showroom and everything. It's just like the room empty even is just jaw dropping. It's the craziest feeling to office out of this building. It's just insane. It's so gorgeous.
If you're just joining us, Annie Brailer, the owner of Eurotrash Design, I'm going to talk in a minute about what you guys, about some of the other incredible projects you guys are working on, has moved into the former Immaculate Conception Church and Rectory in the Gate District, which, of course, is the place that when Pope Leo was starting out, spent his year in St. Louis. But this isn't the first time that you looked at a beautiful old church building, Annie, and said, there's a lot of potential here. You guys had bought the old Westminster Presbyterian Church up a little bit north of where you are now, which of course unfortunately got hit by the tornado. We did a story yesterday how B-Works in Soulard, the bike restoration charity, is going to be taking over Compton Heights Christian Church. We have so many beautiful churches, historic churches, sitting empty in St. Louis. Do you see this as a real trend of trying to take some of these beautiful old buildings and make them come to life again?
Well, I hope that so many, church or no church, just buildings in general in St. Louis, I think are slowly but surely people are waking up to the fact that these are the coolest things ever. And we did buy the other church and we restored it. Then we got hit by the tornado and we began restoration number 2, and that's just been completed. It's another jaw-dropping, beautiful building. It's just so beautiful. The new church, as we talk about it inside our company, the new church is quite a bit larger. And even though when we first moved into the first church, we thought we could never outgrow this, and then, yeah, we did. So no pun intended, this new church is answer to our prayers, for real.
Annie,
I'm hoping... Yeah.
I was just going to say, my wife and I have been following you for years. In fact, there was my wife gets these magazines, and she said, we got to go up to Jacksonville, Illinois to see this person. We drove all the way up there, not realizing you had already moved to St. Louis.
Yes, I'm so sorry. Yeah. I started my import business 30 years ago. I started out of Illinois, and quickly grew into this design firm, and so my first warehouse was in Jacksonville. And I didn't I kept Jacksonville sort of on the map Google wise, for my company identity for a long time, because we are a pretty small firm and pretty selective. And then we sort of came out of our shell about 10 or 15 years ago, and now we're more public.
Yeah, I was going to say the business is very, very good. For people who haven't heard of Eurotrash Design, you have projects going all over the place, doing some of the most incredible houses and taking on some incredible projects as well. The good news is business is good. The bad news is business is so good. How do you have time to sit back and soak it all up?
Yeah, there's a problem. I'm talking to you from a stone parking lot in Austin, Texas right now. So
what are you doing there?
You kind of nailed it on the head there. We have projects in Puerto Rico, Naples, Colorado, Austin. in St. Louis, but St. Louis will always be our home base. It is our home, and we decidedly really it has to be really, really, really crazy important for us not to be home in St. Louis on the weekends. And as every small business owner, there are no weekends, so to speak. So we're in office on Saturday and Sunday, and we try to office from St. Louis, and generally we're there about half the week, so from like Wednesday through, and try to do our traveling beginning of the week.
Well, people can see what you're doing. You've got an incredible Facebook page, Eurotrash, and the last element I saw, you were building that staircase, that winding staircase in the Baby Basilica, I believe it is, and you were playing the music Stairway to Heaven.
No. That was a project in Austin.
Oh, okay.
And, yeah, I was like, wait, there is a winding staircase though, and I'm like, I didn't build it. I mean, that was Barnett and Hayes. There's a gorgeous, oh my gosh, there's this beautiful staircase in the Baby Basilica that's like, it goes up to the choir loft, and you have to come see it. It's just like it's a true miracle, because I've searched for the joinery on this, the spiral staircase. It's like this big, beefy rail, and I found one, and otherwise I'm like, what kind of massive tree was this carved from? Because I can't find the joinery. It's magnificent. So that's definitely it. Things like that, all these little nuances in these old buildings inspire my design and inspire my new work. I always say that there's no new ideas. There's just everything, any quote unquote new idea it comes from history, and it's if you don't learn history, if you don't pay attention to it, and if you don't honor it, you're not going to do anything. You're not going to do anything that's of note, because you are throwing away the most important element, which is like that base, that underlayment that is completely. It's so important.
Yes, it is. And I love your passion for this, and we're very lucky as a city to have your passion, because you are keeping around and keeping these buildings, putting new life in them in an exciting way. You're going to be sorry you invited us to come down and see it, though, because I live down the street from the Baby Basilica, and I am going to be knocking on your door, because I have to see this for myself. Anytime. We'll be like lost up in the rectory, and I always try to figure out where Pope Leo's bed was. It's that the rectory, and it's another. It was built in the 1920s, but it's another like super interesting place. It's almost like a. It feels bigger than a rectory. You know what I mean? It's like it's not like it's like a dormitory in some ways, isn't it?
Yeah, and it in a beautiful boarding house, I would say. I don't know. It's like, I don't want to say boarding house. That sounds bad, but almost like a seminary. Maybe a seminary, because it's like so many priests were there, right?
Well, and Leo wasn't even a priest when he lived there. He was in St. Louis to decide whether or not to take the vow.
Oh, so our city helped steer him in the right direction, which is good. Annie, you're the best. Thanks so much. Yeah, exactly. Thank goodness. Thank you again for all that you're doing here. People, please follow Eurotrash Design on all the socials. You're going to be really inspired. And thanks for taking things that other people think are tired and worn out and seeing so much possibility in them. We look forward to hearing more from you in the future on what your great new projects are. Have a great rest of your day.
You have a great sense of style, Annie.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
That was fun. Something else that, we're talking about the best of the best, and somebody who, a lot of times people have really great vision, but they have a hard time sort of carrying it out. And that's where we need the trusted thinking partners and the experts to come in. And a trusted thinking partner and expert who I just completely is always been at the top of my list for people who need help with Medicare is Ryan Raphael, the Medicare man. And that's because he knows this business backwards, forwards, upside down, sideways, all the different directions. And it's a business where other people in the insurance business sort of know a little bit, or they sort of have their favorites, and they may steer you in the direction of saying, yeah, this is where you need to go without really, really, really helping you line up what your needs are in Medicare when you're 65 and having those lined up perfectly with a insurance provider that can give you everything you need in that season of life. Medicare can be great when you get matched up with the right plan that has all of the different things that you need in Medicare. It can be a real nightmare if it's not lining up for you. And that's where Ryan comes in, and that's where the current enrollment period we're in can help you get lined up with the exact right policy for you. 314-368-6808, MedicareManSTL.com. For the right plan, call the Medicare Man.
Are you ready for beautiful new floors? The Home Show sale is happening now at Boardwalk, your local flooring experts. Save 15 to 25% on select hardwood and durable floors for a limited time. Their friendly, knowledgeable team will help you choose the right floor for your style, your home, and your everyday life, combining beauty, performance, and long-term value. Boardwalk offers solid and engineered hardwood, luxury vinyl, waterproof flooring, and more, with free sample checkouts and tool rental to make your project easier and more cost-effective. Whether you're updating one room or the entire home, they'll walk you through the options of color, durability, and long-term value so you can feel confident in your decision. For more than 25 years, Boardwalk has been your trusted, local, family-owned, quality flooring provider. Visit one of our 4 area showrooms conveniently located in Manchester, Crestwood, Overland, and St. Peters, or BoardwalkHardwood.com. Boardwalk is the proud partner of your St. Louis Blues. You know, over the years, Lordo's has become part of the family for many, many St. Louis families. For 80 years, they've been helping St. Louis families with all of the jewelry needs, whether it's the diamond ring, a diamond ring, maybe something for St. Patrick's Day, something for an anniversary, Valentine's Day. Throughout the years and throughout the calendar, it's Lordo's as your go-to. Whether it's men or women, you want to repurpose something or buy something new, Lordo's Diamonds in the heart of Ladue on Clayton Road. You see, it's a family business. The family's been running it for years, and they learned it from their father, who learned it from their father. And so that family jeweler, it's where generations of St. Louisans go. Grandparents have gone there. Your grandkids will go there. Right there in Ladue on Clayton Road, across the street from a Norman Rockwell-esque firehouse, is Lordo's Diamonds. Go in, make a friend, and make them your family jeweler, because you can thank me later. 314-432-8008 or online, lordosdiamonds.com.
I'm Mark Miller, owner of Miller Furniture and Mattress, your home for quality American-made furniture since 1927. We offer the largest selection of Amish-made furniture in the St. Louis area, plus quality living room furniture from Flex Steel and Smith Brothers. We carry top-quality mattresses from world-famous brands like Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, and Chatham & Wells. Shop our Belleville, Fairview Heights, Lake St. Louis, and Ellisville showrooms. At Miller Furniture, we put the family in furniture.
Don't miss the Rammer Billiken Report every Thursday.
Just before 5 p.m. during the Heidi Klum Show.
Bob Ramsey will give an in-depth look into the red-hot Billikens each week. Powered by Milton Law Group, Davey Tree Expert Company, Hackett Security, and Connor Roofing on the Big 550 KTRS.
Mark Lawson here, owner of Black Fox Cooper. We're an Anderson certified contractor. That means every window we install meets Anderson's exacting standards for quality, performance, and durability, and our installation is guaranteed for 2 years, in addition to the 20-year warranty on the glass. With over 20 years experience knowing our customers, we install the optimal windows to keep your home comfortable, efficient year-round, and most projects are completed within a day or two with minimal disruption to your daily routine. Financing is available. Call 314-270-1484 for a free consultation and estimate, or online at blackfoxcooper.com.
Income is the outcome that matters the most in retirement. Ricken Financial presents Kickin' with the Rickens, redefining retirement. Sundays at 3 p.m. right here on the Big 550 KTRS, and get more at rickenfinancial.com.
Welcome back to the Frank and Jill Show, the moment you've all been waiting for. You've been missing his voice all week, even though we've had some fun co-hosts for the week. Frank Cusimano joining us from the incredible snowy wonderland that is Buffalo, New York. How you doing, my friend?
Very good, Jill. Good to be with you. It's a balmy 39 degrees. I told Connor this morning, every place you walk for the last couple of days, it's just cold. It's cold in the arena. It's cold in the hotel. It's cold outside. But we ate at a great Italian restaurant. I love the people of Buffalo. It's a fun place to be.
You know, that's where Randy Naughton grew up.
Yes. And I can see why Randy would like it. And I thought about this last night. I mean, most people are picking Georgia, but why wouldn't you pick the Bills to win in Buffalo? And they're also led by a guy named Josh, not Josh Allen, but Josh Schertz. So there's some good mojo working for the Billikens up here in Buffalo, New York.
Yeah, let's talk Billikens and then Illini. How are you feeling about tonight's matchups for the thousands and thousands of fans in our area who are going to be watching with bated breath those two games?
Yeah, and by the way, Eastern time, this game will be over past midnight.
Gee.
It's starting at like 9:45, and both teams score up a storm. So we'll probably be reporting at like 12:05 a.m. with the post-game stuff. Now, I really felt good after I watched the Billiken practice, spent some time with 7 of the 9 players who are going to be in the rotation, talk with Josh Schertz. And then when I'm walking out to watch Georgia practice, like, oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
In the sport, we sometimes call them dudes, and they got a lot of big dudes, big athletic dudes. They're 5th in the country in scoring, 89 points a game. They're 2nd in block shots. And here's the big thing, and Jill will get a kick out of this because she is a rock star in terms of the music world in St. Louis. The Beatles came out with a song called Get Back, and that's what it's going to be for the Billikens. Get back on defense because Georgia leads the nation in fast break points at 20 points a game. I mean, the best way to stop a fast-breaking team is to make a basket because you have to throw the ball in bounds. You can't fast break. So SLU, I think this whole game comes down to this. Georgia's more athletic. They're bigger. They're stronger. But if SLU shoots a high percentage of their three-pointers and makes a lot, they got a good chance to win the game.
Do you think there could be an upset?
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, it wouldn't be like a Villanova knocking off Georgetown. It's not like an epic upset, but I do think SLU's got a decent chance to win if they make their threes. And a lot of people are thinking, well, they struggled down the stretch, and they have. They haven't been the same team. But not to romanticize the Billiken season too much, but it has been special. You've tied a school record with 28 wins, and it just wouldn't seem right for this special season to end with a first-round NCAA tournament loss. So you win the game, you break the school record for wins, and then everything else is gravy. So that's what I'm hoping for.
I like the way you think. Okay, Now we're going to be, of course, airing here on KTRS, the Big 550, the Talk of St. Louis, the Illinois game tonight. How you haven't asked me yet, Frank. You asked me for zero advice, but I did fill out my bracket. So if you want me to, give you any insights into my thinking and the strategy behind my bracket, I'm happy to do that whenever. You can just give me a call on your free time. But I had Illinois going pretty far because I think they could bring it all together at this point in this season. What are your thoughts?
Well, my feelings in Illinois have kind of evolved over the year because at one time I was saying this is a national championship kind of team. And then they started losing to me. This is a Final Four kind of team. And now I'm thinking this is a team that can definitely get to the Sweet 16. I like them to beat Penn and North Carolina without a star player and being a bad free throw shooting team. Illinois is just better. I mean, when they're at their best, their collection of, long-range shooters and size, they're just a beautiful team to watch. Problem is they've been 4-4 down the stretch. They haven't defended the three much, but I do think they'll pound Penn today, and then I think they'll beat VCU or North Carolina. I'm leaning towards VCU in that game, but we'll see what happens. I do think they're going to get to the Sweet 16.
Okay, good. I always pick a team to win it all who's I have some nostalgia connection to, usually because they're from the Midwest or in the Big Ten. So I may or may not have expected Illinois to win it all. So I hope you're wrong on those last two games, but chances are pretty good that I'm the one that's wrong on that.
Frank, you need to take her up on that and check out her brackets.
Wait a minute. So she's picked Illinois to win it?
Yeah, I did.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have to go with somebody, and that was the best option, I thought, out of my other choices. And I can't really root for Michigan, even though they're a Big Ten team, just for history reasons.
What did Jill do with SLU?
I have SLU winning the first two.
Good for you.
Yeah.
You have SLU beating Michigan. You are just a daring picker.
I am because I always go with the ones I love the most. I gave up on Iowa when they faced Florida. I did not have them continuing to win in my bracket. Once that game, I was like, okay, I'll concede at this point. Hey, I did pretty well last year when I picked Drake to advance, didn't I?
That's right. You were one of the few people, and I don't know if it was you got a lot of friends by picking against Mizzou in that, but you got to go with who you think is going to win so you can win the bracket poll.
No, I don't pick that way. I always pick my team that I have the closest connection to. That's my, in which some years it works really well for me, and most years it absolutely does not.
Well, you know what the Surgeon General says?
What?
If you pick it, it could get infected.
Okay.
There you go. Say, Frank, are you seeing many St. Louisans in Buffalo?
Well, I'll tell you, not yet. But I think there's going to be a pretty good contingent. They had about 800 in Pittsburgh for the Dayton game on that Saturday, and I think they'll get close to that, maybe a little less. One great story is we're all familiar with Rick Majerus, one of the greatest coaches.
We miss Rick,
who ended his career with St. Louis U. Well, his sister has become, a big advocate of the program and just loves St. Louis University because of the way SLU treated Coach at the end. She is paying for a certain, let's see, I have the exact number here. She is paying for 30 students to come to the game from St. Louis all the way up to Buffalo from the Majerus Family Foundation.
Wow.
She's a wonderful lady, and she's also responsible for Amari McCautry ending up at SLU. She served as a mentor to Amari and kind of said this is the place you should go, and he's turned out to be one of the Billikens' great players. So it's really cool, SLU connecting the past with the present.
Oh, that's such a good story. Frank, I think most importantly, I want to know, and a lot of people want to know, exactly what did you order at the excellent restaurant you went to last night?
Yeah, I did a lot of research, of course. I've done more research on restaurants than I think the NCAA tournament, but we discovered this place called Frankie Primo's. Maybe the top Italian restaurant in Buffalo, had an incredible veal parm. We had calamari. We had tiramisu, limoncello for dessert. Chris May sent that over to our table. Very nice of him.
Oh,
but
that was nice.
Magnificent. Yeah, I just can't tell you how good it was.
Well, this is just radio research. So I expect more great meals just so we have good stuff to talk about when you come back.
And you didn't choose it just because it was Frankie Primo's.
It did have a certain poetic air to it. So.
Absolutely. So fun. I know you are incredibly busy working like a dog this week. So thanks for answering my text and saying, yes, I'll make some time to come talk to you guys. I know Pertz is doing a great job sitting in your chair today, and we'll look forward to reconnecting and hearing all the stories when you get back next week.
Sounds great. Pleasure to be on the show. See you soon. Thanks so much.
All right. I have a great Rick Majerus story. When he came to SLU, we had Wisconsin connections. Mm-hmm. So I'm at the front of the news conference, and I said, hey, Rick, I can tell you where to get the best bratwurst in St. Louis. He goes, wait. He stops, comes over to me. Who are you? And I introduced myself, and he gave me $20. He goes, go get them for me.
Oh, you have to wait till after the news to find out where John Pertzborn got the best bratwurst in St. Louis for Rick Majerus. Lots coming up in the show right after this.
File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction or your money back. File in the Credit Karma app.
At Maryville University, we power dreams, not just degrees. For nearly 150 years, we've empowered graduates to build successful careers. At Maryville, expect a rigorous, technology-driven, mentor-inspired education in a diverse and inclusive learning environment. We help you take it to the next level, no matter what field you choose. Now is the time to turn your ambition into action and transform your dream into reality. Start your journey at maryville.edu.
Big 550.
KTRS. Escalating. The latest strikes by Israel and Iran targeting oil and gas fields. President Trump hosting Japan's leader today for talks at the White House. It comes as Japan and 5 European countries issued a joint statement condemning Iranian attacks on commercial vessels in the region and say they're ready to help to ensure safe passage of those vessels. The Trump administration also ready to ask Congress for more funding.
A senior administration official confirms the Pentagon is seeking $200 billion to pay for the war. But Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth told reporters,
I think that number could move, obviously.
It takes money to kill bad guys, he said, and to replenish munitions, too many of which, he said, have been sent to Ukraine.
Ultimately, we think this should be these munitions are better spent in our own interests at this point, and this kind of funding bill is going to ensure that we're properly funded going forward.
Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Intelligence officials back on Capitol Hill testifying for a second day, this time briefing House lawmakers on worldwide threats along with the Iran war. The labor activist who co-founded the United Farm Workers Union with Cesar Chavez is speaking out. 95-year-old Dolores Huerta says she was, quote, manipulated and pressured into having sex with Chavez. Huerta's statement to ABC News comes in response to a New York Times report on allegations the late farm worker organizer abused several women and minors. ABC's Armando Garcia has details.
It's hard to overstate the impact of these allegations. Chavez is perhaps the most revered Chicano figure in American history. His face, his name, his words are on countless building facades. I'm speaking to you as we speak from Cesar Chavez Avenue in L.A.
Sick calls growing for TSA officers at airports around the country on the job without pay as the partial government shutdown stretches into the second month. You're listening to ABC News.
Hi, it's Frank Cusimano inviting you to join me for the Press Box, brought to you by Control Option, Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. We're going to interview some of the biggest names in sports and have our opening monologue. That's the Press Box, brought to you by Control Option, Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. right here on the Big 550 KTRS, the talk of St. Louis.
Only 2 seconds left. He shoots, he scores! Game over!
It's the end of the game for you and your car. To get the deal you want, you've only got one shot. That's why you go to HW Kia. HW Kia delivers the best Kia buying experience in the Lou. No pressure, no games, no nonsense. Right now, you can score a brand new HW Kia K4 for just $199 a month. That's a new K4 for under $200 a month on a 24-month lease. Has your credit been keeping you out of the game? Nobody works harder to help get you approved than HW Kia.
Hey, everybody, remember, Big D wants to see ya in an HW Kia.
HW Kia in the heart of West County on Manchester Road. Start now at hwkia.com.
With approved credit, 2025 Kia K4, $34.95 due at signing, 10,000 miles per year, no security deposit plus tax, title, license, and admin fee. Expires 3/31/26.
63 degrees at 11:03 with KTRS News. I'm Steve Potter. A bill to eliminate Missouri's income tax is moving forward. The House has approved a measure that would reduce or replace income taxes and expand sales taxes to cover services and digital goods. Republican House Speaker John Patterson says it's a benefit for Missourians.
It is a modernization because you could notice a decrease in some of the taxes, sales taxes that you're paying now.
The Missouri Senate will have to approve the bill before it goes before Missouri residents for a public vote. The cause of a fire that officials are calling suspicious in North St. Louis is being investigated. Firefighters were called to a burning home in the 1700 block of Dick Gregory Place just before 1 o'clock this morning. Fire investigators say there were 2 unconnected fires on separate levels of the home. The home was being repaired from the May 16th tornado. Building 90, a historic warehouse located on the American Car Foundry property on the St. Charles riverfront, will not be demolished following a vote by the City Council. Neighboring business owners have opposed the demolition, arguing that it could lead to the loss of other historic structures in the business district. Some city leaders have said the decision is expected to spark a legal battle regarding the future of the property. The City of St. Louis has announced several proactive public safety measures as March Madness events begin. This after street takeovers and shootings on 314 Day. During a press conference yesterday, St. Louis Police Chief Robert Tracy announced there will be a curfew for youth this weekend.
There will be short-term 10 p.m. curfew on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights in downtown and downtown west neighborhoods to prevent the recurrence of last weekend's behavior.
Young people may still be out during curfew hours if they are with a parent or guardian, or with an adult 21 years or older that's approved by a parent, or going directly home from work, school events, or religious and community activities. And Mid-America Airport, St. Louis Airport, has officially launched Good Maps, a new indoor mapping technology that they say will help travelers better navigate the terminal. Good Maps is designed to help first-time flyers, those with vision problems, multilingual passengers, and those who use wheelchairs. This KTRS Business Minute is brought to you by Walter Knoll Florists, the place for all your floral needs. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. Yesterday, Operation Food Search received a donation of more than 6,000 bottles of Subi honey, which will be distributed to area families and used across several of the organization's programs, which include Food Searchers Mobile Farmers Market and Operation Backpack. Now the markets, brought to you by JBL Financial. Tune into Straight Talk and Retirement Saturday mornings from 9 to 11. The Dow is down 359 points at 45,865. NASDAQ down 167 at 21,987. And the S&P 500 down 40 at 6,583. In sports, 3-seed Illinois basketball takes on Penn tonight in the NCAA tournament. Expanded pregame coverage and the live play-by-play begins here on the Big 550 at 7 p.m. And SLU basketball takes on the Georgia Bulldogs tonight. The Billikens will be looking for their first tournament win since 2014. We're looking for an afternoon high today near 75 degrees. Mostly clear skies tonight, an overnight low in the low 50s, then sunny tomorrow with a high of 82. Right now, at 7 minutes past 11 o'clock, we have mostly cloudy skies, 63 degrees at the Gold Tower at Westport. Steve Potter, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
And now,
Feed me Seymour.
I like to eat.
it's time for the Kuno Food Service Weekly Special.
Yum, 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 yum.
Right here on KTRS, the talk of St. Louis.
You guys love it. Makes your mouth water every single week. The weekly special on the Frank and Jill Show. Jill Farmer, Frank Cusimano, we just heard from on assignment. He'll be back next week. John Pertzborn, my old friend from Fox 2.
Haven't seen you, Jill, in how many years?
Well, never. We've seen each other like 3 times in the last few weeks. It's pretty fun.
It's becoming a habit.
You needed to retire so you could get out and about in the world a little bit more.
I know. I'm supposed to be the retired one, but it does give me an opportunity to go out and sample some restaurants and eat later at night because I don't have to go to bed.
And I said, what's a favorite restaurant of yours these days? We'd love to feature them in the weekly special since you're going to be here on a Thursday. And you said loudly and clearly, Sneaky's Burger Joint in Edwardsville, Illinois is someplace that I absolutely love. And we're very lucky to have in the house today Casey Hinman, one of the co-founders and owners of Sneaky's Burger Joint in Edwardsville. You guys have some really unique burgers. I mean, St. Louis is a good burger town. There's burgers around in the region for sure. But you said we want to take burgers sort of to the next level and be a little bit unique. What was the history behind what drove you to do burgers?
Yeah, so we've both me and my business partner Tyler both had been in the restaurant industry for probably close to 20 years each, and we love it. But we noticed that a lot of places, including burger joints, had to have a lot of waste. You know, there's a lot of produce involved and stuff. So we were like, well, how can we do like an upscale burger, but kind of cut away a lot of the produce waste and mostly lettuce and tomato? It wilts, it gets brown, it gets soggy. And so we came up with these kind of unique burgers, including my personal favorite, the Dingus, which has cream cheese, peanut butter, bacon, and blackberry jam on it.
And that just shouted at me. I'm looking at the menu for the first time, and I said, I'm going to have the Dingus. I like to try different things. And what really got me was that you had peanut butter in it. And I thought, it's either going to be really bad or really good. And I took one bite, and I'm like, this is like the best burger I've ever had. It was phenomenal.
Some people were scared of it, but I promise once you try it, you change your mind.
And you use that Wagyu?
100% Wagyu beef, yes, sir.
Yeah. And what is Wagyu? Isn't that Japanese? It means Japanese cow or something?
So Kobe beef was the original cattle in Japan. And then Wagyu was a crossbreed between like the Kobe beef cattle from Japan and the American Angus. And so together it became Wagyu beef.
Oof.
And so, and it's just a higher quality beef, but you guys source it close to home. You don't go back to Japan to get.
We do not go back to Japan, no. It's a fattier beef, so it's fat means flavor. So when you're cooking it up, it's a juicy burger. That's the thing.
So who comes up with these recipes?
Both me and Tyler both.
Really?
Yeah, we're big foodies, and we just kind of put stuff together. And he'd have an idea, and then I'd have an idea, and then we'd shoot each other down, and we'd compare, and then we add a thing, take away a thing, and before you know it.
If you need an extra person to help,
please, anytime, John.
He's really
absolutely
he's willing to go the extra mile.
Right, absolutely. Shoot me any ideas you have.
Yeah, any investigation needed on trying out new concepts, he's here for you. I have a friend who's loves to come there all the time. She's a big fan of the Uncle Phil, which is mac and cheese.
Correct.
On a hamburger.
On a hamburger, absolutely. Then we use pepper jack cheese to kind of cover it and keep the mac and cheese on there. And then old Vienna Red Hot Riplets chips go on top just for a little crunch because it's a lot of soft with the mac and cheese and just a touch of spice.
So how often do you change the menu? Are you working on something now for the future?
We usually change the menu. Most of our staples stay on there. We change a burger or two along with the weather, every different season. And we add weekly specials, daily specials sometimes as well. But
just when you get a wild hair and say this would be fun. The hot mess is another one that's been recommended to me, and that's probably the one that speaks to me the loudest on the menu. Talk about that.
Yeah, so we were like, we have a lot of these different burgers, but we didn't have that spicy burger for somebody who just wants something spicy. So we created a burger that has a couple slices of pepper jack cheese, some fresh diced jalapenos, our own in-house made hot sauce with fresh habanero. So it's got a good kick, and then we top it off with just some fried onion straws. And
I had those fried onion straws. Those were delish. So you opened in 2022. You just finished a major renovation. You have a food truck as well, right?
Yes. So we were just using the food truck as our kitchen. We took over a brewery space, so they didn't have a kitchen inside. So we were doing that, and then we had to close down most of the month of January, and we had our full, kitchen put inside, fully open concept, so you can come in there and you can smell and see the bacon sizzling as it cooks.
Yeah, I mean, my stomach is growling so loud right now. I'm surprised you can hear my voice. Generally, we think burger and fries. By the way, I'm getting some texts from friends saying, wait, what are you talking about? Again, Sneaky's Burger Joint over in Edwardsville, Illinois. Most of the time, we think burgers, fries, so go together. You guys said, nope, we're going to be tater tots all day long.
Yeah.
Why did you make that decision, and how much do people love it?
Well, at the time, we just wanted to be a little bit different. And we were like, everybody does French fries.
Perks and I totally relate to that. We're both a little bit different.
Every
so
restaurant everywhere has some fries. And first we were going to do fries, and we were trying to figure out we wanted to do shoestring, or we want to do curly fries, we want to do waffle fries. What fries do we want to do? And then we were like, let's do something different. Let's bring back some nostalgia of being a kid, and let's bring in some tater tots. And then we on top of that,
from tater tot hot dish
really okay. Well, it just so happened that there is a couple other places in Edwardsville that also do tots, and we didn't know that at the time.
Edwardsville, the tater tot capital of the St. Louis area.
Yeah. So we didn't realize at the time. We thought we were going to be the only ones, but we didn't change our mind at that point. And we're happy. We still think we do them better than anybody else.
So what people may not realize, I'm going to just give a hoorah.
Hoorah.
Yeah. Casey's a retired Marine. You never say former Marine. He's retired. And in the Marines, did you eat well?
At times, yes, and at times not so well. But
so that kind of made you want to do this even more, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, there was times in the Marine Corps that there was a lack of good food options for sure, and so I want to bring everybody a little bit better food than an MRE.
Tell everybody where you're located on Main Street there.
We are at 307 North Main Street in Edwardsville, kind of across the street, diagonally from the Wildy Theater.
Famous Wildy.
Yeah, so if anybody ever goes to see a show, you can always come see us before or after.
So I was today years old when I knew that there was some that for beer aficionados that there's the equivalent of a sommelier. You are a certified
Cicerone.
Yes, you and of course your co-owner and partner are both certified Cicerones, which means you know beer backwards, forwards, all the way around. So beer is another thing that if somebody happens to be enjoy that, which I've noticed a lot of people in the St. Louis area do. Talk about that side of the business as well, and your passion for that.
Yeah. So when we met each other in Nashville, working at a beer bar called Flying Saucer that in the last few years recently closed down there, and that's where he was already a huge beer fan, but my journey started with Flying Saucer many years before that, and that's where my love for beer came in. And we both got our certified Cicerone while working at the Flying Saucer, and we carried that over to Sneaky's. And so we have, close to 100 different bottles and cans, another 18 giraffes, about half of which rotate constantly. And we try to keep a good selection anywhere from easy drinking to hoppy to dark to slightly dark to Belgian, German, a lot of American craft beer. We even have domestics, of course, for everybody, though, that just wants their Miller Lite or Bud Light or whatnot. But But yeah, we're huge beer people for sure.
What do you find? What beer do people order the most? Would it be?
Well, actually, for a long, long time, our number one seller was Stag.
Really?
Yeah,
from Belleville originally.
Yeah.
I think it's made by G. Heilman now up in La Crosse, Wisconsin. Yeah.
And I think a big part of that was we serve it in a nice frosty cold Stag mug, and it's $3 every day. So
that helps.
Yeah,
we like a good deal.
Absolutely.
What's the most popular burger? We mentioned the ones that we like, but what's the one that you'll never be able to take off the menu because people absolutely just clamor for it?
You know, we've changed the menu enough now where I think we sell all the burgers pretty regularly, but the Sneaky's Classic will always be, I think, the number one seller. It's a double smashed Wagyu burger, and we put caramelized onions. We use Clausen dill pickles for our pickles on there, a couple slices of American cheese, and our famous Sneaky sauce.
Yeah. Is there anything besides hamburgers?
Well, we could do a grilled cheese. We do offer Impossible burgers for
a
anybody.
Veggie burger, maybe. Yeah.
We have gluten-free buns for anybody who's gluten-free. Our fryer is gluten-free as well. We don't put anything in there with gluten. So if anybody has an allergy or celiac. And we can do a Prince. We also have chili, my recipe chili. We usually do that from the fall to the spring. We're thinking about keeping it year-round, though, because it's so popular. But
Jill, you know what I'm thinking?
I think we need to go over for lunch today.
Yeah, we need maybe a little franchise movement. Is there any talk about that?
Yeah, we could always have a conversation.
Yeah.
Casey Hinman, Stinky's Burger Joint in Edwardsville. We always like to ask our restaurant owners and chefs here on the weekly special, if you obviously your first choice is always going to be an incredible lunch or dinner at your own restaurant, but if you're going out somewhere else in St. Louis, where do you like to grab a bite?
Okay, so my favorite restaurant, maybe ever, is here in St. Louis, and it's Indo.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have been. Sato's their sister company. They do more sushi there, but both of them are very seafood heavy. But Indo is, shouts out to Indo. They're my favorite restaurant in St. Louis. In Edwardsville, Musali's is my favorite restaurant.
Musali's
Steakhouse
is good, yeah.
They're fantastic. The service at both those places can't.
So the burger guy likes sushi.
Oh, yes.
There you go.
Big time.
Gotta mix it up, right? That's what
maybe
makes
a sushi burger.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Casey, thanks so much for coming in to tell us. And I hope many of you
John,
go
nice to meet you.
grab lunch and or dinner at Sneaky's Burger Joint over in Edwardsville. Fun to hear the backstory, fun to hear how much passion is going into making those incredible burgers. And that's something that we tend to talk about a lot here at KTRS, the Big 550. Talk of St. Louis is companies who just care a little extra, go the extra mile, locally owned businesses who just care about St. Louis. And that's Premier Heating and Cooling. Our friends located in St. Charles. They'll service, though, anywhere in the listing area here, whether you have you're very proud of your air conditioning or heating unit for lasting as long as it is, but you know it's time to start a conversation on potentially bringing in a more efficient unit that's going to save you money, or maybe has an air cleaner in it that'll help you get through allergy season, or whether you just know that you need a tune-up and you kind of have forgotten to put it on your to-do list the last couple of years. Boy, your air conditioner and furnace are going to last so much longer if you just invest a little money every year, having Premier come out and do that tune-up for you in the spring and in the fall as well. All you have to do is grab a pencil, 636-916-1122, premierheatingcooling.net, or just remember Premier Heating and Google it now. Set up your appointment for that spring clean and check. You'll be so glad you did. Lots more coming up after this.
Watch your favorite team, eat your favorite food. It's the Village Bar. You've heard about the world-famous cheeseburger. Stop by and check it out. Even better, bring your friends on your way to the game, after the game, or just watching the game. Food, sports, and a cold beer. We'll see you at the Village Bar.
March Madness is here. Don't let getting hurt in a crash or on the job drive you to madness. Call Brown & Brown for a free consultation. 314-333-3333. That's 314, all threes. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision. It should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I'm Farmer Dave, and here's my good friend and owner of MasterCar Zinc, Alex Rosenberger, with today's hot MasterCar Zinc deals.
Spring is in the air, my favorite time of the year. I'm buying and selling, of course, cars and motorcycles daily. I like to buy a few cars a day at this time of year, and I like to buy them directly from the owner. We carry only hand-selected vehicles, and I like to meet the people they come from. It's as much a people business as it is a car business. If you're in the St. Louis metro area, I'll even come to your house to purchase your vehicle, especially if you have more than one to sell or even an entire collection. We're always on the hunt for super clean, rare, and unique vehicles. I'll even buy everyday cars if they have low miles and are exceptionally clean. Hop on my site, MastercarsInc.com, and submit what you've got to sell. We buy, sell, and trade every single day.
So rev that motor and point your car in the direction of MasterCars Inc. and buy or sell today. 4100 Namioki Road in Granite City, or visit MastercarsInc.com to get more details. That's MastercarsInc.com.
Hey, it's Heidi, and I've only sold 2 houses, but I know how stressful it can be. I also know the team at Lauren Risley Realty makes the entire process as easy as possible. I watched Lauren work with friends and my parents, and I can say she is top-notch. She doesn't just know the market, she knows what to look for in a home, and that includes red flags. And through all of it, she is calm, cool, and kind. So if you're in the market to buy or sell a home, or if you just have a question, call Lauren Risley Realty, 314-775-0684, or go to laurenrisleyrealty.com.
St. Louis is home to more than 80,000 University of Missouri St. Louis alumni, where they drive the region's economy and contribute to its social and cultural well-being. At UMSOL, more is what moves us. Find your more at more.umsl.edu.
This is Mariah, 3rd generation at Newstetter's Fine Jewelry. Buying an engagement ring can be intimidating. At Newstetter's, we ensure complete understanding of your purchase. We offer a choice in both lab and mine-grown diamonds and are able to work with any budget. Let our family help educate you on your choice at Big Bend and Doherty Ferry or at wowdiamonds.com.
The St. Baldrick's Foundation is holding their annual charity concert at the Arnold Eagles Hall, 1725 Jeffco Boulevard, Arnold, Missouri, Saturday, April 18th.
Featuring 3-time STL headliner winner Torchlight Parade with special guests The Nightmare and Alice Cooper Experience, Aragon, Tofu Band, Jojo Matea, and High School Sander.
Proceeds benefit childhood cancer research. Tickets are $25 and can be purchased at the door. That's Saturday, April 18th at the Arnold Eagles Hall, 1725 Jeffco Boulevard in Arnold.
The Tigers are coming to St. Louis, and our special expanded game day coverage tips at 6 o'clock on Friday night. It's presented by Royal Banks of Missouri, Car Shield, and Allen Roofing on the Big 550 KTRS.
Repairing chimneys, walkways, porches, foundations, entire homes, anything to do with brick or stone, you need a tuck pointer you can trust, and that, of course, is Morelli. Morelli is a family-run business started in 1991, and they're only as good as their last customer. That's why when you check out the reviews online at MorelliTuckPointing.com, you'll notice that they're actual customers who are singing the praises of Morelli. So if you need a tuck pointer, you need Morelli. 314-645-1387 or MorelliTuckPointing.com.
When it comes to your education, one size doesn't fit all. That's why the University of Missouri St. Louis offers exceptional academic programs at the undergraduate, graduate, doctoral, and professional levels to fit any passion, purpose, and schedule. More is what moves us. Find your more at more.umsl.edu.
Want a song?
On my mind, like the song on the radio.
Want a quote? It's the song and quote of the day on the Frank and Jill Show. Right here on the Big 550 KTRS.
Time flying by on a very fun edition of the Frank and Jill Show Thursday morning. Friday is right around the corner. John Pertzborn sitting in today, co-hosting. Thanks so much. You're getting ready to go on vacation tomorrow. So the fact that you gave up your pre-vacation day, you know, you could be home packing the car, and instead you said, I'm going to come play with Jill.
Well, I must be insane because I'm hearing it's going to be 80 degrees in St. Louis by Saturday. I'm going to be in Colorado where it's cold. So
yeah,
up in the mountains.
We hope it's cold because it's been unseasonably
It's been a bad
warm.
season, yeah.
And that's, you know, my sister's out there, and you know, you don't want it to be warm on the slopes because that's when the stuff melts and you can't.
It's icy.
Yeah, they're good at making snow, but it's
not the same though.
They've had a hard time keeping up with all of it for sure. Connor McCarthy has been here since, I don't know, 4 or 5 this morning. How you hanging in there? Did you get any sleep at all last night, my friend?
Doing well. Got a few hours in. Yeah.
Yes, you're young, you're resilient. You do much better than I do in that situation. Yeah. When I have, you know, when my watch or my Oura Ring tells me I'm like 30 minutes short, I'm walking around panicked and distracted all day. Like, how could I possibly function with this little sleep? When you were getting up at 2:30, was that your...
Actually, 1:20 in the morning, yeah.
To be in at 3?
I would get in about 3:30. I had it like a 50-minute drive because I live in the Metro East. And I learned to operate as a zombie. I didn't have a decent night's sleep. I'd get maybe 5 hours a night during the week. Mm-hmm. And I learned to function that way.
And how were your napping skills?
I can't nap.
I can't either. That's the problem. Because McGraw is a good napper, and so he can do his 5 hours with the turnaround from his.
Well, he naps on the air.
No.
We go to
I've
break
seen
and
him,
he's
yeah.
closing his eyes. Yeah.
Oh, that was good. That was quick. Quote of the day today. Are you an Eagles fan at all?
The group?
Yes.
Oh, I love the Eagles.
We do too.
Yeah.
And I'm too cheap to have paid for those tickets at the Sphere. Everybody I know who did buck up and pay said it was a lifetime experience, changed their life, spiritual,
Really?
wonderful, and it was really great. But they are, and even people who say they're not huge Eagles fans will say, but you know every song,
Mhm.
you know the lyrics. They were sort of, if you grew up at all in the 70s and even into the 80s, it sort of was the soundtrack of life in many ways. So I'm always curious as like how these songs, how they came to be. Don Henley a few years ago did an interview with Howard Stern about getting the cassette tape sent to him by Don Felder that was just a riff of the song that became one of their, if not their most famous song ever. Listen to the story. And that's how it came. So for the song of the day, of course, no surprise here, let's listen to those words and lyrics that would just pop into Don's head to this Don Felder riff.
Welcome to the Hotel California.
So as an Eagles fan, John Pertzborn, what's your favorite Eagles song of all time? Do you have one? Is that like
I love
choosing
that.
a favorite child?
No, I love Hotel California. In fact, I remember when it came out in '76, I bought it on an 8-track on the beach in Biloxi, Mississippi. From some guy in a van. And I wasn't really aware of the Eagles at that time. I was maybe 15 or 16 years old. And I popped it in, and it was one of those songs, and the Eagles in general, a group that made a big impact. I mean, you hear the specific songs, and you remember where you were and what you were doing.
We have fallen for it now, I think 3 times. This is the last tour. We better get out and see them.
Yeah,
so we've
right.
played we, again, not in Las Vegas, but most recently, I think it was 2021, around this time of year, because the river was green. Connor was up celebrating St. Patty's Day in Chicago last weekend. We went up to see them at the United Center, and they played the whole first part of the concert was the entire Hotel California album. Just uninterrupted. They came back and Don Henley said, "I bet you're surprised that was only 49 minutes." The entire album.
Oh yeah.
That was a shock.
Did you know they had a song that they regret having released, and it was "I Wish You Peace." I wish you peace. And I can't even remember the lyrics to it, but I know that Patty Davis, who was the daughter of Ronald Reagan, was one of the writers of that song. And it was released in '75. Nobody else wanted it. Henley said, according to the music publication, but they went with it, and they regretted it ever since.
I think my 2 favorites maybe are from 1972, Peaceful, Easy Feeling. If I'm just like, that's just one of those, I get goosebumps every time. I really like it. And then I like Seven Bridges Road. I love the harmony on that one. That was from
They knew how to do it.
Yeah.
Did you see
did.
the special on the Eagles on, I believe it was Netflix?
Gosh, I don't know if I did see that.
It's so well done.
Oh, we've been talking about it because I did watch the Paul McCartney post Beatles one that's out on Prime right now.
Haven't seen that yet.
It's good. It's interesting. A couple of listeners said they thought it was slow. I thought I learned a lot I didn't know, but that's probably because there's a lot of room for things I don't know for me to be surprised.
I went to the McCartney concert. It was in Madison, Wisconsin, when the Blues were in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Wow.
So I'm sitting here watching this megastar, but at the same time being pulled back to the game on my cell phone. I was so close to McCartney, he looked at me and he put his finger up and went, "No, no, 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 no," because I wasn't paying attention.
Wow.
And that just haunts me to this day. It's like, he's such a megastar. Was he upset because I wasn't looking at him?
I disappointed Paul Mulvaney. We were down in Nashville last weekend playing a little pickleball, and we went to Leaper's Fork, is a little town outside, and that's kind of has a music venue there that a lot of people play. And they had a Tom Petty tribute band playing. It was all musicians who
Were they
play.
good?
They were really good because in Nashville, everybody
Everybody's
else's
good.
full-time job
Yeah,
was,
right.
I play. I'm the bass player for Carrie Underwood.
backup,
Yeah,
yeah.
I heard it. So everybody on stage, when they said what their day job was, is a Leanne Rimes band members, everybody, Amy Grant. There was a lot of people there, but I was very surprised, and a lot of people. Everybody loved the concert, but there was probably every table or two, people were watching a basketball game on their phone in front of them as they were enjoying the music. So we do live in a world where, since we can do two things at once, we often do, whether it's the right thing to do or not. Paul McCartney would say no.
Paul would say, no, 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 no.
Good stuff. Hey, our friends at Woods Basement Systems celebrating 40 years of serving St. Louisans and making a real difference in people's lives, because that's what happens when you are called in to solve a problem that so many people really struggle with in St. Louis. A lot of us, at some point, if we own a house for any period of time, we unfortunately might have some water coming in, and that's not a good thing, and it scares us, and we know it could be a really challenging thing to take care of. And when you have a company that for 40 years has been staying on top of all of the latest technology, all of the latest architectural interventions to make having that lower level of our house livable, a place that we can enjoy and that adds value to our home, you get really good at it, and they sure are at Woods Basement Systems. So whether it's fixing dampness cracks in your house or uneven floors, or even if you're having major foundation problems, they're the place to start the conversation, to get moving, to get the house you love back, that has all the things in it that make it a place you want to stay for a long time. 618-705-4055, woodsbasementsystems.com.
In 2025, the federal government restarted collecting student loan debt after a COVID-era pause. Editor-in-chief of Investopedia, Caleb Silver, says that means the IRS will let filers write off the interest paid on student loans.
You can take a deduction of up to $2,500 on the interest you pay on qualifying student loans, but there are income phase-out limits at $85,500 for your adjusted income that you need to be aware of.
That's the only change borrowers need to know for filing taxes by April 15th. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Are you ready for tax season? Don't let the tax changes passed in the Big Beautiful Bill Act catch you off guard. Hi, I'm Jeff Azufal, Senior Tax Strategist and Wealth Advisor at Capital Advisory Group and the author of the #1 best-selling book on taxes, Keep What's Yours, and my soon-to-be-released book, Keeping What's Yours, the Strategic Tax Planning Guide for the One Big Beautiful Bill. Since 1976, Capital Advisory Group has been saving our clients money year after year. Give us a call at 636-394-5524 or online at capitaladvisorygrp.com.
Mark Lawson here, owner of Black Fox Cooper. We're an Anderson certified contractor. That means every window we install meets Anderson's exacting standards for quality, performance, and durability, and our installation is guaranteed for 2 years, in addition to the 20-year warranty on the glass. In many cases, we can upgrade your existing Anderson windows with new energy-efficient glass at a cost far less than replacing the whole window. Financing is available. Call 314-270-1484 for a free consultation and estimate, or online at blackfoxcooper.com.
Great story about Michael Baldy and Baldy Electric. One of the wives called up and said, hey, we need an electrician. Call Michael Baldy. And the husband said, no, I can do it. Well, the wife overrode the husband, called up Michael Baldy at 314-968-9999. Maybe she checked the website first, baldyelectric.com. So Michael Baldy came out to the house. While he was at the house, the husband says, well, since you're here, I've got 3 or 4 other jobs for you. It turned out to be an all-day affair. They took care of everything. And so, no, the husband couldn't get it done. Good thing the wife called Baldy Electric, and now the whole house is fixed because of one simple phone call to Michael Baldy and Baldy Electric. Indoor, outdoor, brand new commercial building, an old Victorian home, it doesn't matter. Michael Baldy and his team of electricians will take care of you. 314-968-9999, Baldy Electric, or baldyelectric.com.
The Big 550 KTRS is your live and local home for community-focused talk radio, sports, and the Mizzou Tigers. Catch all the Tigers NCAA games right here on KTRS,
along with Sweet 16 and Elite 8 games.
And with the Fighting Illini needing a radio home this March here in the St. Louis region, the Big 550 KTRS has stepped up and will be carrying Illinois NCAA tournament games live and local, serving Missouri and Illinois and beyond.
Hey, it's Heidi, and I'm inviting you to join me October 23rd as we journey in search of Iceland's magical northern lights with Colette. We'll experience the land of fire and ice with a rare opportunity to search for the northern lights every single night with a tour guide. Our journey includes a day in the charming city of Reykjavik, checking out the steamy lava fields, massive glacier-sculpted mountains and valleys. We'll get unique views of beautiful waterfalls and walk along the black volcanic sand beach. And let's not forget, a relaxing dip in the Blue Lagoon. Colette handles all the deets, from flights and meals and hotels, even the local experiences. Your only job is to have the time of your life with me. You have until March 25th to sign up, so don't miss out. Join me. Call our friends at Altair Travel 314-968-9600 or go to KTRS.com to learn more.
Good tune, Connor, per usual, keeping in line with the conversations in the show. He's very, very good at that. I'm really, by the way, welcome back, Frank and Jill show on a Thursday. You're listening to KTRS, the Big 550, the talk of St. Louis. Jill Farmer, Frank Cusimano on assignment, but we hopefully will hear from him again tomorrow talking about a Billikens and an Illini win. That's what I'm counting on for sure. John Pertzborn is sitting in. John, I'm really excited about this next conversation.
Yeah, right around Christmas time, my wife and I met this guy. His name is Robert Scher. He's like a 7-time Tony and Grammy nominated music producer. And I'm like, why are you in St. Louis? Why have you been coming to St. Louis for all of these years? And he said, I've come here. If you ever go to a musical, you like the musical, you want to get the album afterwards, he is producing these albums. And so he's done like 6 at the post-productions in St. Louis. And he's joining us to tell us why he's always coming to St. Louis to do that. And he's joined by Leo Schwartz. Hey, Robert, how you doing?
Hello, John. Nice to talk to you, everybody. I'm doing fine here in New York.
Yeah,
to make a long story short.
But when you come to St. Louis, why is that? Explain that.
Well, 1996, a convention at Walt Disney World in Florida. I met 2 of the St. Louis's biggest names in entertainment, the Kramer Marionettes. And we started a work relationship back in 2000. Basically, I was James Lipton from the Inside the Actor Studios producer, and we looked at the project we were doing. We didn't want a lot of public speculation here in New York, so we thought we'd come to some place which would be out of the way and not conspicuous. And St. Louis turned out to be the place where I was at. I went to tour different post-production facilities, and here we are 26 years later. I'm still with the same engineers, same facility, doing these projects one by one.
We love hearing so much. This is Jill Farmer, by the way, Robert. We love hearing that there's so much talent and that is happening here in St. Louis. We had Terry Schnook on the show a couple of weeks ago, and a lot of St. Louisans weren't aware of his huge impact as a producer on Broadway. You're on the side of getting some of the great Broadway music out into the world. Is there still a pretty big market for people who love the music of Broadway and want to continue to listen to those songs once the show is over?
Yes, especially around the world, because around the world, and certainly in London and in Canada and Australia, theater is very, very big, now even Germany. And these albums really are great calling cards for producers around the world, not to mention audiences, of having these things, I guess, play out. So ticket sales are increased greatly. Having an advanced listen on, well, gee, I love this song, or I'd love to see this show. I love the idea about it. And these cast albums are very, very important to the success of a Broadway show or a show in a foreign country. And that's the best advertising, I can say that. And I have Warner Brothers behind us, company, it was the former Time Life division. Time Life, as you well know, was very, very important in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and even the 90s. Mm-hmm. And we're with the former division of Time Life, at Warner Music, and we love doing cast albums. And we are involved with a number of Broadway shows this season. Hopefully, a musical called Beaches, based on the film with Bette Midler.
Oh, cool.
We're also involved with a new version of The Wizard of Oz, which is a brand new score based on the book. And we have a lot of big name people involved: Lorna Luft, Ruben Studdard, Stephanie Mills, Melba Moore, Faith Prince, Andrew McCardle. The list is endless.
Wow.
You know, Nathan Lane. Down the line.
Nathan Lane, heard of him. You bring up a really good point, though. I remember I got the best advice ever when a friend said, you must listen and learn the songs from Hamilton before you actually go see the show, because you're going to enjoy the show so much more. And so I had never thought about that. But yes, producing these albums really does help keep these shows alive for new generations of people, and gets the music of the new shows out even before people have seen them.
Absolutely. We're involved with another new project called Till, based on the life of Emmett Till. And there was a big movie on it, on television. And Leo Schwartz, my business partner, is the author of Till. Wow. And we have an all-star cast doing the musical. It tried out in New Jersey, and it was done someplace else regionally. But we have an all-star cast, which includes Ruben Studdard, Amber Riley, Melba Moore, Stephanie Mills, Norm Lewis, Clint Holmes. Those are the main people. Lilias White, she starred Hadestown on Broadway. And also Philip Boykin, another star of Hadestown on Broadway. So we have this all-star cast ready to do this studio recording of this musical Till, which was very well received. We think the timing is right, and we're looking for investors for that. Because of the power behind it with the cast and the story, we think this should be a no-brainer. And this was also the basis for a Broadway musical.
Let's talk about the financial aspect of that, Rob. You say you're looking for people to invest. How does that work?
Well, we have LLCs based on the project we're doing. We do a preliminary budget on what we think it should cost. And what happens is Warner's, or whatever record label I'm working with, Universal or Sony, they usually pay twice a year, and then there's a 90-day accounting period. It's safer than doing a live show, because the album master becomes a tangible asset, and that can be depreciated over years. But these albums, I've done albums 30 years ago, are still selling. And when you have a major label behind a title, it only ensures success, because they're going to continue to do this because they make money as well.
All right.
I tell people not to get involved with small record labels because they don't have the wherewithal or the staff to do something. And unfortunately, there are a couple of labels on Broadway right now who are not doing anybody a favor that are small.
So if somebody wanted to get more information about investing, they could contact you at your website?
Yes, my email is, my website is down at the moment, but my email is robsh2001@yahoo.com. That's robsh2001@yahoo.com. I'm also on Instagram, and my Instagram is robsh200. robsh200. I'm also listed on Wikipedia under my name, as well as
if people Google you, they should be able to get through it. Robert Scher, thank you so much. Very fun to hear the St. Louis connections. Good luck with all the things you have, and keep making beautiful music. We will be right back on the Frank and Jill Show with John Pertzborn right after this.
Heard a great story about the window store the other day. Larry Thornton, the owner of the window store, 314-739-0002 or WSWindow.net, told me a story. He had a customer call him up and say that he wanted to replace his white vinyl windows with darker windows. And so, of course, Larry took care of him. So now they're all darker and sort of brown in color. Looks beautiful. They're energy efficient. There was no upselling. They're great quality windows, and Larry Thornton and the window store took care of him. That's what he does. The price is extremely reasonable, better than the national companies because there aren't the layers of middle management. The window store has been around for 38 plus years. Proud sponsor here at the Big 550 KTRS. Windows, and don't forget about doors. Doors can get really expensive real fast. That's why you want to go with a company you can trust. Installation, price, selection, quality. The window store. Window store. WSWindow.net. 314-739 899-0002, WSWindow.net.
Have some fun with your friends while eating great food. Of course, I'm talking about the Village Bar, the only place to watch the big game while eating the world's best cheeseburger. There's a reason people have made this their favorite hangout for decades. The game's on, and so is the grill. We'll see you at the Village Bar.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Tune in to the Big Sports Show with Greg and Weesey every Thursday night at 8:02 for the Illini Report. Powered by Woods Basement Systems. For up-to-date info on the Illinois men's basketball team on the Big 550 KTRS.
Final stretch of your career isn't about slowing down. It's about getting strategic. Those last 5 years before retirement can define your financial future, from maximizing contributions and paying off high-interest debt to mapping out health care and testing your post-retirement budget. This is your moment to take control. At Pioneer Wealth Management, we help you connect all the moving parts. Real peace of mind starts long before your final paycheck. Investment advisory services offered through Creative One Wealth, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Pioneer Wealth Management and Creative One Wealth are unaffiliated. Life insurance professional investing involves risk, including possible loss of principal.
The tournament is here, and Total Wine & More is your slam dunk headquarters. Whether you're cheering courtside from your couch with crisp craft beers, smooth cabs, or refreshing seltzers, we've got the perfect lineup to keep your watch party winning. And just like your bracket, we've got a lineup full of contenders. Whether you're picking favorites or going for bold upsets, our friendly guides will help you find amazing drinks for every matchup. With the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Carney. Buck.
Thursday on the broadcast, he was with Kenny Loggins. He was with Buffalo Springfield. He was in Poco. Now he's with us. Jim Messina on the show.
And we'll talk bracket busting with Brendan Weesey.
What did you call it?
Bracket busting. Is your bracket busted?
I can glue it back together. Mark Maxwell joins us, too, with some St. Louis politics.
See you here right at noon.
John Carney. Julie Buck. Weekdays at noon on KTRS. The talk of St. Louis.
A weekend at home or a weekend RVing? Staring at your neighbor's security lights or counting stars? Watching the Travel Channel or sitting around the campfire with friends? Break away. Get out of town in an RV from Byerly in Eureka.
For the rest of your life, you gotta be there. Byerly RV.
Tune in Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for Straight Talk on Retirement with Jeff and Aaron Lapidus for an intimate understanding of the retirement needs you may soon be facing.
Welcome back to the Frank and Jill Show. John Pertzborn, people have loved having you be here today. I'm getting texts from friends. I'm getting texts on the text line. Thanks so much for taking the time to do that. And not that you do it all the time, but you're one of the rare humans who actually knows how to fly a plane. You have a private pilot's license. So I notice you pay extra attention when something tragic like this week happens, where we lost a pilot in St. Louis. Unfortunately, the Ed Rubik was discovered that his plane had crashed out in Spirit of St. Louis Airport earlier this week. You have some inside connections to people in our flying community here in St. Louis.
Yeah, when this happened Tuesday morning, I, for some reason, couldn't sleep, and I saw it pop on the internet. So I immediately sent it to Diane Earhart, who's joining us on the phone right now. And Diane is a certified flight instructor. She worked in the tower at St. Louis Downtown Airport for a number of years, also known as Parks College back in the day, which is where Mr. Rubeck actually got his pilot's license back in '82. And this guy was the pinnacle of success, in aviation. And so when something like this happens, everybody wonders what happened. And so let's talk to Diane right now. It's nobody wants to speculate on this, Diane, but you knew Ed fairly well. You went to his wedding, in fact.
Yes, that's true. And I've known Ed since the 80s. One of my earliest crossing paths with him was when he was the flight instructor who was training me to be a flight instructor. and we had several mutual friends that were flying out of the airport.
So, Diane, I know, a lot of times when fortunately, it doesn't happen very often, and certainly has not happened in St. Louis for a long time. But that a lot of times the first question in just average folks' head is, gosh, was this the pilot that maybe wasn't as experienced, didn't know what they're doing? But in this case, for sure, Ed had flown thousands of times and was one who often transported medical tests to other parts of the country. So you knew him to be a very experienced pilot.
Absolutely. I can't really express enough that he was really one with that airplane. He has certainly more hours in that make and model than I probably have total time, and probably just about anybody else in the country.
A security camera actually picked up the plane going down. It's difficult. I've heard different people speculating, saying, the twin engine lost control, fell into an open field, burst into flames, but that as it was coming down, it appeared as if the engine, one of the right engines, had caught fire. Too early to say, but that if that did happen, that would explain a lot.
That would be a logical explanation, but I also saw that video that you're talking about, and boy, it's really difficult to see much of anything other than a bright light. And I don't want to lead anybody into any kind of speculation or conjecture or Monday morning quarterbacking. That's what the NTSB is for.
Yeah. How long does that investigation usually last? A couple of months?
Well, it kind of depends on the complexity, and I don't really know all the factors involved, but I know they'll be looking at Ed's record and the airplane in particular, and I know it takes probably a couple months anyway for a preliminary report, but it would not be surprising for it to be a couple of years for a final report.
Yeah, this plane was manufactured, about 1964, developed back in the 50s. People hear that and they go, oh, but in flying, we always fly old planes. I mean, they're maintained and it's just the way it is in the field. From what I'm hearing, though, he had taken off and was immediately saw there was an issue, and at about, I don't know how many feet, maybe he was at a relatively low altitude, turned around and tried to make it back to runway 26L. And 26 left, and he made it just short of that feeling, and that's what they've got to go on at this point.
That would make sense. As a pilot, also that we're trained right from the beginning that if you have any kind of problem at any point during your flight, if you're near an airport, that's where you want to aim for. So it would make logical sense that if Ed had an emergency, he would head back to the airport, and nobody knows what to do exactly in any situation because every emergency is different, and a pilot has to do exactly what he or she has to do to the extent to meet that emergency.
Well said. If you're just joining us, Diane Earhart is a flight instructor, air traffic controller, friend of Ed Rubik, and a very experienced pilot who unfortunately died when his small plane went down earlier this week. Diane, having been up in the air so much and teaching other people to fly, have you ever had an experience where you had a close call or a situation that required you to put all of that training into play?
Well, I would say that probably anybody who's been flying any length of a time has had some unusual situations or something where there is not a textbook answer and you have to take 2 and 2 of what you know and put it together and come up with an answer that makes sense. And I have had to use some of my critical thinking in that regard and rely on my experience. But knock wood, I've never had a true emergency or been in a position that was really life-threatening.
And so those plot twists that you described that you kind of had to think on your feet quickly, would they have been mechanical related or weather related, or is it a combination of the both that usually makes it for a more exciting flight, shall we say?
Any of those things and more.
Right. Yeah, that's what we say. In fact, pilots, through the whole training process, and I know, Diane, you do this with your students, you're constantly like pulling out the mixture rich, which would all of a sudden they lose power, but you want to see how they react. And people who can react under pressure calmly make good pilots.
Exactly. That's exactly correct. And you have to, exactly as you say, remain calm and fly the airplane. We're taught from lesson 1 to fly the airplane, fly the airplane, fly the airplane, aviate, navigate, and communicate.
That's right.
And doing the best you can to keep the airplane under control is your number one priority, and we learn that from day one.
And the reason these stories get so much attention is because flying is so safe. It is safer than driving. And so when you have a crash or a mishap like this, it gets attention because it doesn't happen very often. I mean, you have 40 to 50 car crashes in St. Louis on a given day. Think about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Diane, thank you so much for taking the time to give us some insights and to help remember Ed Rubik for
our condolences.
For the positive influence he had on the flying community in St. Louis. We're sure sorry to hear that happen, and we'll look forward to hearing more information about what exactly occurred in that tragic crash. Appreciate you having us with us, John. I'm curious from your perspective, what was it about flying that sort of drew you to say, I'm not just going to enjoy my commercial flights, but I'd actually like to learn how to fly that airplane?
I was a kid, so my brother's 13 years older, a Vietnam vet. He wanted nothing to do with it. My dad offered it to him. Back then, it was relatively inexpensive to get your pilot's license. I think the total was maybe $1,200 back in the 70s. And on my 15th, I think it was my 15th birthday, my dad said, "Hey, you want to take flying lessons?"
Wow.
And I said, "Yeah." And
Don't ask me twice.
I had an excellent teacher. His name was Field Maury, and his father had been a barnstormer. So going way back to the infancy of the aviation field, and he just, the way he presented it to me, the way he taught me, I felt comfortable, and it's to this day. I lived my life like a pilot when I was on the air. I liked it when things would go wrong because I could react.
Yeah.
I like that pressure.
Fortunately for the world, I will never get my pilot's license because that's not the situation where I'm probably going to thrive. Real quick, before I know we got to wrap up the show here in a second, but John took some flying lessons. My husband, John, back when he was in high school, really enjoyed it. And when he was teaching the girls how to drive many, many years ago now, when they would start to get distracted or, react to some correction he'd given them with a little bit of attitude, he'd say, "Fly the plane."
That's right.
They get back, fly the plane. Your focus is on the road and driving. For sure. It was sure fun having you co-pilot today, Pertz. It was a really good
already?
time. We are,
oh my gosh, it's 11:58.
I know. It's time for
Time
our
flies.
friends Carney and Buck to take over the reins. Max will be there as well a little bit later today. It's going to be Heidi, Josh, and Connor as Bob is with the Bills, of course, out in Buffalo. Go Illini. Tune in tonight to listen to the game and make it a great day, everybody. You sure deserve it.
Thanks, Connor. Thanks, Jill.
File your taxes for free with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. Just file on your own in the Credit Karma app by February 28th. Valid for those who didn't file with TurboTax last year.
I've been asked to say a word about Allen Roofing. That's not fair. I can't say it in a word. If they just did roofs, I probably could. I would say roofs. But they can do siding. They could replace it. They could put leaf guards on. They could reattach it like they had to do for me, where my gutter kind of came away from the house. Siding issues, they carry James Hardy, the very best. They can fix that too. Basically, if it's something you could see from the outside of your home or your office, they can fix it, improve it, or replace it. Look, it's probably the biggest investment you're ever going to make. Protect it. Absolutely. And nobody does it better than Allen Roofing. Check out all the reviews online. Everybody else seems to know. I shouldn't have to tell you these things. For all of your roofing needs and so much more, Allen Roofing. Find them online at aroofing.net.
KTRS St. Louis.
Live and local.
Depend on it.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. At the White House, President Trump meeting with Japan's prime minister today. He praised the joint statement with Japan and 5 European countries that issued a statement saying they're ready to help ensure the safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz. It's been closed off nearly 3 weeks by Iran. The Pentagon also announcing it will seek $200 billion in supplemental funding from Congress to help pay for the war in Iran. The president on the figure.
It's amazing, actually, how good it is. So we want to be sure, and it's a small price to pay to make sure that we stay tippy-top.
ABC's Selena Wang has more from the White House on the bilateral talks.
This is the first face-to-face meeting that President Trump is having with an ally since he lashed out at them for not helping more to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. But President Trump has now shifted his tone, saying that he doesn't need much from Japan. Japan was part of that coalition of countries, European countries, that said they wanted to help reopen the Strait of Hormuz, but they did not specify how.
Oil prices have been rising again today with the war continuing in Iran. Iran launching fresh attacks on energy facilities in several neighboring Gulf countries. ABC News chief economics correspondent Rebecca Jarvis